Hello, our topic is secondary, tertiary, and minor progressions and how we can see trends over a time period of about a year in the Series 2.0 software. A question came up today, can I see trends in the minor progress chart over a time period of about a year in the Series 2.0 software? And what I'm going to show you works with secondaries and tertiaries as well as some other kinds of progressions. So it really applies to all three. And there are other techniques, some which are better for longer time periods. But I'm going to show you some commonly used methods to see what's going on in progress charts. And as you probably know, a secondary progression chart is based on the idea that a day after birth equals a year of life. In a tertiary progress chart, a day after birth equals a month of life. And in a minor progress chart, a month after birth equals a year of life. And if all that sounds confusing and crazy, how could a day equal a year? I discussed this in more detail in another video. And what I want to do in this video is show you some ways to see what's going on in a progress chart over a period of time. And I'll show you 4 features in the Sirius software. And there are probably some others. These are 4 that come to mind that are nice to use and would be some of the more obvious ones to use. And the first one I'll show you is the animated natal progress bi-wheel. So here's the opening screen of Sirius. I'm going to just do this tutorial video right from scratch, you could say, right from the opening screen of the program. And let's start a new list of charts, a new session. I don't want to pick up with whatever I was doing last time I used the program. And the astrologer who asked me this question said that she's having a discussion with some other astrologers on Barack Obama's minor progress chart. So let's go ahead and use President Obama's chart. We'll read him in. By the way, here in the notes, we could click on this to jump to the online Astro Databank page and confirm where the birth data comes from. And from there, there's usually a link to Wikipedia. I discussed that in another video. Anyway, what we want to do now is just get his chart and explore his minor progressions over, say, the year 2015. How are we going to do it? One simple way is the animated bi-wheel. So we can go up here to the bi-wheel icon, and the bottom 4 selections are for a natal transit, a natal progressed, a tri-wheel, natal progress transit, and a quad wheel where you can put natals, progressions, returns, and transits in a quad wheel. Let's do the natal progress bi-wheel. What may not be obvious here is that this progressed allows different kinds of progressions. Often in astrology, when we say progressed, we mean secondary progressed, but this is flexible and allows for other kinds of progressions. So we select that, and we get a note that a day for a year progress chart is created. I don't want a day for a year progress chart, but it's okay, not to worry. We will see that we can select other kind of progressions as we get into this. I click OK, and there's my bi-wheel with the natal chart in the middle and a secondary progress chart for January 19, 2015, which happens to be today's date, and the date that I'm making this video. And it's using the current default system for how to progress the houses. I happen to have Solar Midheaven method. In another tutorial video, I explained some of the choices for ways to progress houses. There isn't just one method. But that's not the critical thing right now. What I want to emphasize right now is that I have a bi-wheel with the natal chart in the middle and the progress chart on the outside. And I want minor progressions on the outside. That's what the owner of Sirius is asking about. And it's also nice to know that you're not stuck with secondary progressions. Secondary progressions are also known as day for a year. So it says day for a year here. And fortunately for us, we can select all kinds of other progressions. And there's the month for a year, also known as minor. So I just click on it. Presto, my outer ring has changed to minor progressions. So it's that simple. And now I can jump forward and backward and explore how this minor progress chart changes over the year in relationship to the natal chart. Well, this is kind of amazing, or maybe not so amazing. Maybe this is why this astrologer is asking about it. I guess an astrologer noticed that Obama's minor progress sun is conjunct his natal sun. That's really interesting. And I wonder when it's exact. If I go a day forward, I'll select one day and click on this later. The next day, 12 Leo 14. Well, I could do this more efficiently, but anyway, we can see here 31, 33. So here it is, just past it. Let me go a day earlier. And we have it exact on between January 24th, 25th. So right in there, towards the end of the 24th or 25th, I could narrow this down to hours, and you've got it. We can also produce listings that would just tell us the date. But anyway, you get the idea. You can jump around. What I'm going to do also, the date, by the way, is shown up here in this bright yellow, and also here, it's progressed for January 24th. Let's jump to the 1st of January. Just change the date. And go back. We see that minor progress sun at 10 Leo 53. And let's go forward a month at a time. Select 1 month. Go forward. And on February 1st, again it shows here as well as in the wheel, where we can watch the chart change over a period of time, jump a year at a time, whatever we like to do. So some people really like these animated bi-wheels and tri-wheels because you can see it as a chart wheel and see how things are moving and what house they're in and so on. So there it is. You can also save this, print it, and so on. That's one method. Let's go ahead. I'm thinking, is there anything else I want to say about this? There's some other things I could mention, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and exit out of here. That's one way to explore what's going on with a progressed chart. Another thing you might want to do is maybe you don't want a bi-wheel. Maybe you just want to see the chart wheel itself. In that case, you can use the time adjust, which you can use on just about anything. So remember that time adjust is anything you want to adjust, a progressed chart or a birth chart. Maybe you're looking at midpoints or something. You can always adjust the chart, or you're looking at an astro map and you want to see if the lines would move if the person was born earlier. You have this time adjust, which works with natal and progressed charts. So let's use the time adjust as a second way to explore the minor progressed chart. And what we'll do is we'll just select a minor progression and adjust it. We have a secondary progress that was created for us when we did the bi-wheel. And let's go ahead and select a progressed chart. Click on this icon here, and it defaulted to secondary. I don't want that, and let's select the minor progression for today. And there's that minor progress chart with the sun at 12 degrees Leo. And I can use the time adjust, the first large clock here. And we're going to get the same kind of thing we have with the bi-wheel, except we're looking at just this chart. We also have some additional options to jump forward to when an aspect occurs, or when a planet enters a sign. So you get the same idea. 1 month, I go forward a month, and now it's at February 19th, progressed sun is up to 14 Leo, and so on. And I can use these features to find when an aspect occurs, if I want. So that's another thing. You've got the interactive wheels. These are ways to look at it as a chart wheel. Now let me go back to my PowerPoint presentation. I've covered the first two, the animated bi-wheel, and number 2, use the time adjust on the progress chart. Another nice way to look at progressions is the timeline forecast. Is always a nice thing to do. Let's exit out of this. Excuse me. Sorry, phone rang. Let's exit out of that, and let's select the timeline forecast. That's what I was going to say. So I'm on his minor progress chart. Actually, Sirius is going to be smart enough to know that I really want this for the natal chart. So I'll just select it, forecast, timeline format, and let's do a month for a year. We can do a progressed to natal. We can do a progressed to progressed. We can do all these things. Maybe for now we'll just do progressed to progressed. So I've got a progressed to progressed with the usual planets, major aspects. Let's see what we get. I'm running it for just a month, just to get an idea. And then it tells us, note the natal chart of this progressed chart is now the currently selected entry. So that's kind of nice. I've got month for year progressed to progressed. Okay, looks interesting. How about right up here I could change it to 3 months. So that's one way to see trends. What if I go back to a month? I can see the progressed to progressed aspects. I could use this right arrow if I wanted to go a month at a time. So that looks nice. Let's do something else. How about if I right-click on this to go to the settings, and I'm going to go to the customize planets and aspects. And under aspects, I have all these things I can customize. I'm going to remove these. I'm just going to do conjunctions and oppositions, and I want to add this, the zodiac sign bar. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. I'm going to add the zodiac sign bar, only do conjunctions and oppositions. This will give me a visual of when the progressed planets change signs. Let me show you that again. I go to the customize. I have all these things I can customize. There's under house sign. There's a zodiac sign bar. There's also a house position bar. I'm going to do the zodiac sign bar. Okay, so I've done a little customizing of this basic listing. And let's go ahead and see it for the whole year. So let's do it for January 1st, 2015. Run it for a year. Click OK. And let's see what we get. This is quite interesting. The reason I did conjunctions and oppositions was to make this listing shorter. So we get some interesting short list here of just main big things going on. For example, in the minor progress chart, Sun will be opposition Moon on April 29, 2015. So there it puts that number 29 on the April. We see there's a slow-moving Saturn opposition Pluto. This is the minor progress chart because that's what I selected. It tells me month for a year, progress to progress. In the month for a year, which is, in other words, minor progression, Saturn will be opposition Pluto during the months of May, June, July, and August, 2015, and it's exact on July 7. So this is a nice summary of some of the really big things. Of course, I could include the other aspects as well, the trines and sextiles, or even midpoints and all kinds of things if I like to. And here is that zodiac sign bar. So I can see that the progressed Sun is in Leo, goes into Virgo in late September. This is the first week, 7, 14, 21. Look like it's around the 23rd of September. Progressed Sun goes into Virgo. I could see, for example, that in August, the minor progressed Mars looks like around the 16th or so of August. Remember that 7/14, a little bit after that. Mars is going to progress from Libra to Scorpio in the minor progressions. Early in August, the Venus changes signs from Virgo to Libra. And we can see the moon changing sign about once a month. So in late September, when the progressed sun goes into Virgo, it tells me it's Virgo here, the looks like the moon is about a third through or so Cancer, right around here. So the progressed moon is in Cancer. So the visual is nice to be able to visualize if you want to see the trends. You know what's happening with that minor progressed chart as a visual and some of the major aspects. So that's another way to explore it. And the nice thing too is you have these arrows here, so you can just jump to the next time period. Let's do that again. There it is for the year, and then I hit the right arrow, and it'll jump to 2016. So you can go backwards and forwards over time without having to right click or anything, just using these arrow keys. Very, very nice. I want to go back to 2015 because I want to verify this chart for you just to show that we're getting the same information no matter how we look at it. Around September, maybe 22nd, 23rd, it looks like right around there the minor progressed sun enters Virgo. Let's confirm that. The moon should be in Cancer. Venus is in Libra. So let's go to the minor progression. And suppose we want to see that chart for when the sun enters Virgo. Use the time adjust is one way to do it. You can just always use the time adjust. It's always handy for any time you want to see something on a different date. So I've selected the minor progression. I've got all my charts here. Go to the time adjust, and let's look at it. Nice thing is you don't have to enter the chart and all this. You can just pull up the chart and move it around. I'm guessing around September 23rd, 2015. I'm guessing from what we saw in that timeline forecast. Right around there, this sun is going to leave Leo and have moved up to Virgo. Let's click on Apply Date. And there it is, 29 Leo 55. So it confirms what we saw. And the nice thing here is you might want to see, the context of it. And then we can go one day forward if we want. And, just see how this is changing. So by the 25th of September, it tells me it's the 25th of September here, it tells me it's September 25th here. The sun, the minor progressed sun has entered Virgo. So all these tools, very, very helpful. You can just see the chart. If you want to, we can also use these features here to get the date when Venus enters Scorpio, for example. There's choices of zodiac signs down here. I showed this in other videos. I have a whole video on these time adjust features. Okay, so that's another thing we can do. Just exit out of there. So I've covered 3 of the 4 things. The animated bi-wheel, the time adjust of a progressed chart, the timeline forecast, and we added that zodiac bar. That's pretty cool. And you can always do a listing, progress to progress text listing. Those are available. So I've got the minor progression we're looking at his minor progress chart. Doesn't matter what the date is. I can just go to forecast, progress text listing, and let's do a progress to progressed listing. And we're going to use the minor chart. Here it asks us whether we want secondaries or minors. I'm going to select minor. Let's start January 1st, 2015. Let's run it for a year. And let's select regular planets. Enter exact leave. We've selected our progression. And we'll get a listing of the aspects. And there they are. Let me make this wider. There we go, so it all fits on the page. There's a little magnifying lens to make this wider. And there's a list in the aspects. So if you like this kind of a listing thing, you've got that as well. And let's pick out an aspect here. Let's say Mercury is sextile Jupiter in the minor progressed chart on May 14, 2015. Right? Mercury sextile Jupiter, May 14, 2015. At the top of this listing, it tells us this is a minor progression, progress to progress. That's what we select. I'm going to look at the minor progress chart. Let's look at the minor progress chart to see this Mercury sextile Jupiter in context. What is that date again? Mercury sextile Jupiter on May 14, 2015. So let's close this. I've got the minor progress chart. Let's do the time adjust and put in May 14, 2015, apply the date, and there's Mercury at 24 Leo 44, exactly sextile Jupiter at 24 Gemini 44. So now I'm seeing that aspect that I saw in the listing as a wheel in context. And I could do this at the animated by wheel just as well. If I wanted to see that in relationship to the natal chart, just go to do the same thing I just did instead of with time adjust with the animated by wheel as we saw before. So different ways to explore what's going on in a progress chart. If you like to look at bi wheels or single wheels like this one, move them back and forth. If you like a listing, I really like that timeline format, and we learned a little trick there that zodiac sign bar is very cool, where we can not only see the aspects, but we can see where when the sign changes in a visual display. So we can get familiar with all these different tools. It's a lot of fun how you can use them all to see what's going on. Okay, I think I've covered some of the ways you can explore what's going on with a progress chart. I made a note here, we looked at his sun entering Virgo in late September. We saw that in the timeline. And then we saw it in the chart wheel using the time adjust. And there's that Mercury sextile Jupiter that we noticed in the listing, and then we looked at it in the we see it here in the minor progress chart. Okay, my friends, some of the different ways to explore what's in a progress chart. There's of course also the astro signature forecast, which is a whole other realm. That there are other features for looking at things, and if there are other ways that you like to explore and see the information, let us know. We're of course always working away, adding more features. But those I think are some of the more common methods that are used by most astrologers. Okay, my friends, I hope that was worthwhile and you learned something. God bless. Namaste.